kind of go from there. Let's see. We got a few more folks. I'm just waiting on some other folks to roll on in. So yeah, a couple of people that are trying to figure out their emails. So hopefully they can figure that out. Let's see what's going on. All right. So tonight we got a couple of people that are going to share their story with us. And then we're going to have a little bit of lesson. We're going to some breakout rooms as usual. And just, the only thing is, just like always, if you don't mind, just open up your mind for this, right? We're going to explore a little bit of craziness here. And we're going to open up the mind a great deal. I'm excited to have y'all on here. If you're looking for somebody else to be on here with you, go ahead and share it on over to them. They're more than welcome to join us. This is a free call. This is just very communal, man. We're just trying to do this for the goodness of the industry and all those folks. And so we're just excited to have everybody on here. It's good to see. Finch, we might have to get you in here singing at some point in time, giving us those solos, you know.
No, they're ready for that, bud.
Yeah, you listen, I've been watching you on my TikTok, I'm straight, but damn, I can see what you got, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. All right, then. I felt like I was back in like eighth grade R&B mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, getting after it. So y'all
In the
look
words
up Chris on the
um,
TikTok or the
uh,
Instagram. He'll serenade you to sleep.
in
Um,
in the words of Luke, something slight, nothing major, right, Luke? That's
that's good stuff.
thanks, Jay. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. All right, so we're gonna get started. I um am going to talk to y'all a little bit about what we got coming up. So Roof Camp in Birmingham is coming up shortly. And so we'll talk a little bit about that real quick, and then I'll go back to the rest of this. Oh no, what did I just do? Did I do it from here? Okay, let me see if I can get to this before I break it. So, I don't know if y'all saw this or not. I know some people on the roofing community saw this, but we are making a pretty big announcement. Reggie has hooked us up with somebody. Listen, whenever Blake and Kim and Charlie and I and we all kind of started talking about this whole roof camp situation and what was going on. At the time, I had just met Reggie Brock, and Reggie, who is still like one of those dudes that I look at and I'm like, I can't believe he's even on my cell phone, to be honest with you. And Reggie has led us to a lot of other folks. And so Bethany Webster Grant also is going to be there. And she is my mentor for many years since 2012. She's been somebody I've looked up to. She's a lady that speaks to tens of thousands of people in a room. If y'all know the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, she had that place full with World Ventures, a company that I was in, and she was on stage speaking in front of tens of thousands. She is just electrifying. She's amazing. And obviously, Elijah is my dude. Elijah absolutely brought the fire in Louisville. So I just didn't feel comfortable having roof camp without Elijah. So I've asked him actually to kind of be on it with us. So now him and Reg and I and Blake and Kim and Charlie and all the team Wilder, uh, we're excited to have him as part of the actual core group that's going to help us run this thing. We're looking at next year. We've already planned out next year. We know exactly what we're going to do, a lot more than what we did this year. This year's just kind of been thrown together. So whenever I say this name, it may or may not strike y'all. I don't know if it will because some of y'all are kind of new to the industry. But the guy that I'm going to tell you that we have is somebody that I'm super excited about because it's somebody that I've looked up to in the industry for a long time since I've been here. He started some of the big things that you see now that are ran by other people in the industry, like AccuLinks, like Top Rep, like things like that. He had his hands in a whole lot of that stuff. So in Birmingham this year, for the next one, we're going to be in Birmingham, Alabama. So if anybody was questioning the whole baseball stadium, the oldest professional baseball stadium is in Birmingham, Alabama. and we are going to have Mr. Jim Johnson will be joining us. That is a huge deal for Roof Camp. This is a little fun deal that we kind of thought of in our heads. And now, because of Reggie's connections, we get to have Jim Johnson at this event. It's just a really, really big deal. So we're super stoked to have him and Bethany and obviously Elijah and Reggie. I'm lucky that I get to share the stage with them. So it's going to be huge in Birmingham. And then the last one will be back in Dalton for anybody that was in Dalton. We're going to be back in Dalton, Georgia. So super exciting stuff happening here at Roof Camp. And we're just glad to have all y'all on board and super excited about it. So I'm going to turn it over to a couple folks that I've asked to share their story tonight. They're going to kind of sort of tell us a little bit about where they started, who they are, and all that good stuff. So we're going to go ladies first. Ashley, if you don't mind kind of sharing your story and going from there, and then we'll kind of move on over to Luke.
Hey everybody, I'm Ashley. So I was in mattress sales for years. I think I was in there for like probably 11 years, but that's where I started. And I got like this email from Elijah through Indeed or whatever, and I just kind of like let it sit there for a little while, and eventually I was like, okay, shit's getting real bad over here, so let me go ahead, let me see what's up. And so it's actually funny because Elijah and Angela, like, they don't even know anything about this test, but like I put in my resume, and then once I did that, I had to take a math test, like a business math test, and neither one of them know like where that came from because I'm like literally the only one that did. Um, Everybody told me that I was going to be like financial suicide because I started in September of last year, and last year was a little rough because we were like straight commission, and I had no clue what the hell I was doing, but you know, and now I'm the top salesperson out of our sales team, um, which is nice. I mean, I don't know how I got there, honestly. Like, I just kind of really work hard. But yeah, I think the roofing industry is so wonderful. When my dad passed in March, like I had money saved up that I could just go. Like as soon as I found out that he was like on his last weeks, like I was able to just get on a plane and fly out there. And I would have never been able to do that if it wasn't for the roofing industry. I've got some stuff going on with like a custody battle, and like I was able to drop 3 Gs on an attorney. You know what I mean? Like it's just, those are wonderful things that like I've gotten from being a part of Roman's Roofing. I'm like probably their biggest cheerleader, I think. So, but yeah, I think as long as you apply yourself and you just work hard and you stay motivated, like you can do whatever you want in this industry, and that's something that I absolutely love. So, yeah,
Nice.
yes.
Well, it's awesome to see you too. I've been watching you, on Facebook, and you've always been a big supporter of us and Roof Camp and all of us. So thank you so much, Ashley. I appreciate you sharing your story with everybody. And this is going to go for a long time because we're not just doing it tonight. We're going to share this online, and people will be able to hear your story for a long time to come. So thank you so much for
Thanks for
sharing with
having.
us. Thank
Thanks
you.
for having me.
All right, we're gonna go to Maryland to Big Luke. Unfortunately, didn't get a chance to see Luke last time I was in town, but I'll be up there June the 17th.
Yes, sir.
Hope you're ready to put your boots on, come up
Are
there
we
and do
ready?
a little bit of training, and then y'all got me out there playing a little bit of softball, so we're gonna see how
Outside,
that
bro.
goes.
Hey.
So Luke's a part of one of the companies that I work with on a pretty regular basis, and Luke's the big dog, and he and I have had some really good conversations. Guy's super motivational and came from an amazing story. So Luke, take the floor, man. Share your story, and hopefully we'll touch a couple people out there, man. Appreciate you sharing with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for the invite. Thank you, Ashley, for opening it up. That was one heck of a testimony from you as well. Again, thank you, everybody, for just the time. And I guess someone saw something in me that I don't see in myself sometimes. But yeah, to start off, I came from a broken family, and I was started doing. I'm honest about everything today. I'll tell you all that. I started doing drugs at the age of 13, and I kept going. by the time I'm 16, using needles, and then by the time I tried joining the army, and then the only thing I really served was my addiction. I was served 2 years. I got out for fentanyl and THC, and then my life kept going down. A lot of self-sabotage, and then I got into recovery, and for somehow things started clicking. I started listening to the right suggestions, and I went the right way. And thank God I am where I am today. But what's funny is my general manager asked me if I wanted to come work in the roofing industry, and I was like a year clean, and I was working as a truck driver, and I was like, "Nah, I'm a truck driver. This is what I'm meant to do." And I'm telling y'all, God works in mysterious ways, because I drove Humvees at night. I drove with night vision goggles all the time, no problem. But for some reason, after telling her I'm good, I wrecked this truck. I fell asleep while driving, and I wrecked the truck. And the first thing the company that I swore was what I was supposed to work for, the first thing the dude asked when I told him that the truck was totaled was what kind of produce, how much produce was left on the truck. He didn't ask if I was okay. He didn't ask, you know what I mean? So I might have taken that as a sign, and I don't know. It's just crazy how it works. So I was like, you know what? Maybe this sales. I was scared for sales. The commission just scared me. But I just gave it everything I got. I said, okay. I tried it out, and I had a great team behind me. My sales manager was awesome. My general manager is awesome. I just give all the credit to God. And don't get me wrong, I had a really good, year last year. This year, I feel like it's a little slower, but I just tell myself that I'm gonna sell exactly what God wants me to sell. I know, don't get me wrong, like she's saying, is it's amazing when I can drop things for family, and do things and show up today for the ones that showed up for me. And yeah, like I said, I do feel like there's never enough. You know what I mean? It is a little scary with commissions. But like I said, I think God has a plan, and I just show up, I work, and I trust him. So thanks for letting me share, y'all. I love this industry. I do love this industry, though.
Good stuff, Luke. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you, man. That's awesome. Awesome
Thank
stuff.
you.
That's good stuff. All right. So I appreciate both of y'all sharing your stories. And that's the setup, right? So if folks ever ask you what the setup's like, we're going to introduction, then we're going to try to do 2 or 3 testimonials. Then we'll probably have a guest person. And today, Reg and I are going to kind of bounce off each other a little bit with this. I'm going to go over something I've really been working on. And Haley's going to get to see it for the first time live and in person tomorrow. But I'm going to give y'all a little taste of what we're working on. But I was watching the Indianapolis 500. For anybody that's a race car fan, that's who I am. So I started watching this whole Kyle Larson thing where he's doing the double, and I'm like, why would he do the double? And the double is he's going to race the Indy 500, and then he's going to race the Coca-Cola 600. It's 1,100 miles in one day. He's got to fly from one place to the next. I'm like, what's the motivation? What does he do? What is there? And so I started thinking about these 5 P's, right? In my world, there's just 5 P's, and I'm going to share y'all just for a second what that looks like, and then Reg and I'll kind of talk our way through it a little bit. But okay, can y'all see that? See my sexy butt up there? Y'all see that? Okay, so this is what y'all see on the outside, right? That's your boy, right? That's me from the outside. Okay, just you see the achiever, you see the one going and trying to get that jet plane. You go, all that stuff, right? You see who I am. But on the background, right? Here's what's in there too. There's just like funny guy. It's like a ghost in the background. That's the idiot, right? And so inside every achiever is an internal idiot. That's just all there is to it. That boy right there is having a good time. I don't know if you can tell or not, having a fun time. So I'm going to do this talk, and I just want y'all to kind of understand the 5 P's that I think can help you not only achieve in business, it can help you achieve in your relationships, it can help you achieve in anything that you ever want to get done, right? When you want to get stuff done, because I was born ambitiously lazy. I have to trick my idiot every day just to get out of bed. That's just all there is to it, okay? So the first one, and for anybody that's on this call that has done my color test, I think it is vital for you to understand who you are, right? Now, most of us understand whose we are, right? But understanding who you are and what your strengths and weaknesses are is very important. It's vital. Until you learn who the inner achiever is and the inner idiot, you can never really help lead others. And some people think that leading in this industry is about the owners. We talk about the managers. We talk about, no, a lot of times whenever we're filing claims, we're leading the homeowners. We're telling them what to do. We're explaining to them the process. So leading can be from anywhere, right? Maybe it's with your kids or whatever it may be. Number two, finding the pain. Probably the most important thing for me is I grew up pretty happy. Like there wasn't much pain in my life. And I'm super blessed to say that. And I know that most people didn't have it the way I had it. So for me, I almost had a manufactured pain to a certain extent. If you've heard my story about going and getting the Culver's ice cream, so that way I got 25 leads a week because that's what the dude said to do. Like I had to manufacture that pain. It was the ice cream. I manufactured that. If you've watched anything in the last month about what I'm on the journey to go do right now, we finna go get on that jet plane, y'all. It might take me 10 years, but we're gonna get a jet. Mark that shit down. Promise you that. Because the pain of flying domestically, knowing that I could just hop on a jet and be there. I just flew to Orlando on Friday. I got on a plane in Chattanooga, Tennessee at 5 a.m., flew to Orlando, spent 4 hours with the company. By the way, on the flight to Orlando, I had to sit in Atlanta for 2 hours and wait. Got to Orlando, was with the company I was with for 4 hours, went back to the airport. Thank you, Reggie Brock, for sending me all the way around the moon. Reggie was there to drive me around. Then I got back on the plane. Then I sat in Atlanta for 2 hours. Then I got back home. I got back in Chattanooga at midnight, back home at like 12:30. I could have done all of that had I had a plane. I could have left here at about 10, been down there, dipped out, and then got back home around 6:30 or 7. Like, I know that just sounds unreasonable, but to me, that's pain. Like, that's time. I can't buy time. There's no way for me to buy time. A jet plane is a time machine for me. It's an ability for me to go touch people that I wouldn't normally be able to go touch and then get back and be back here home with my family. So it's important for me. Maybe it's manufactured pain, but it's a pain to me, right? And I remember my very first pain, though, was like paying bills. How do I pay the bills? My second pain was how do I get my dogs in a house big enough that they got a fence, right? My third pain was like, how do I make enough passive income to cover the bills that I had? And we just kept going through the pain stages to now the pain just happens to be a jet. Okay. So I didn't just jump to jet. Like it's where it is right now. So you got to find your pain because if you can't identify your pain, what are you waking up for? What does it matter? Ashley said she had enough pain. She's got a custody deal. She was able to drop 3 G's to go get that done. That's pain, right? Homeboy talked to Luke and said, well, how much fruit is left? How much produce do we have left? Instead of asking him a simple question of, bro, are you okay? That's pain, right? So identifying your pain, because if you have enough pain, you'll figure out a way. I promise you that. All right. Then after we figure out the pain, then we got to get the plan. Now we need to know. This is where the IPD calculator, inspections per day calculator, comes into play, right? Our inspection calculator. How many inspections do I need to do a day to hit my goal? How many inspections do I need to do a week to hit my goal? I hate it when people talk about, I need to file 3 claims a week. Well, sure, you might file 3 claims a week. That's okay, but that's uncontrollable by you. But I tell you what, you can control how many roofs you get on, right? And then we'll figure out the percentages after that. Focus on getting on the roofs, right? Any great plan is a spark plug of action, but the idiot says just do it without a plan. The achiever knows that we need a plan to be the best version of us. That's just it, right? There's always a plan. No matter what, when you're going to go play in the Super Bowl, you got to have a game plan. You got to have a book. You got to go buy something. So, proximity, right? Finding the proximity. Who is it you need to be around? Who is it that can help you get to the plan? Who is it that can help you achieve the goal? Who do you need to listen to? I listen to Les Brown. I listen to Art Williams. I listen to Reggie Brock. I listen to Elijah Munn. I listen to, Justin and Rob over at Economy. I listen to people that are trying to achieve life like I want to achieve life, right? I listen to my coach, Coach Michael Burt. I listen to all kind of people, Brad Lee. I listen to Kim and to Blake. Like, I listen to everybody around me that I feel like I can help me get a leg up in life. That's it. So who are you going to surround yourself with? Proximity just means like you are a direct reflection of the 5 people you hang out with the most. And if you don't know this, your bank account will reflect the 5 people you hang out with the most too. So if you're hanging out with losers that don't have money in their bank account, I'm not saying change your friends, but you either change your friends or you change your friends. Right? Take it or leave it. So, and then finally, you got to preserve the plan. What does that look like? How do I keep it going? What steps am I going to put in place to make sure that I keep going on track, that I stay on track? It's like GPS on a phone, right? When you put the address into the phone and you're trying to figure out where you want to go, the GPS keeps you on track. What is it you're going to build into your daily activities that will keep you on track to go get whatever the goal is that you want to have, that you want to achieve? So I'm going to bring Reg in real quick. And Reg, we're going to kind of sort of bounce back and forth because what I want to do after this is I want to break us out into groups and have the conversation openly with everybody. And the conversation that we're going to have is, what P are you struggling with? Or what P are you struggling with the most and why? Right? And so, Reg, I'll start. My P is always the pain because I know that I'm ambitiously lazy. So if my pain is not enough, I literally won't get out of the bed. Like, I just won't. Like, I won't get off the couch. I won't go do the things I need to do. So to wake up every day, to have a goal, right, and to have a pain bad enough that I want to go get that goal so bad that I can taste it, no pun intended with ice cream, like that's important to me. It's so important to me. And so for me, the one P that I struggle with the most probably is finding and identifying the pain and then really focusing in on it. So Reg, what's that look like in your world?
So the P that I struggle with the most is proximity. And you gave me some real good insight on that. But just so you'll know why that's important to me, I believe that there is gained ground for everybody on this call when you learn that life is more, there's more that can be accomplished in life than just doing it by yourself. So collaboration is a big deal for me. How do we collaborate together to produce things that can't be done alone? That's a big deal to me right now. So when Jay started talking about proximity, I thought, wow, that's interesting. And here's a story that I will leave you with. My wife and I have been married 35 years. And before we got married, we started talking about the important conversations, right? Like, where are we going to live? You know, what church we're going to go to? What's the money look like? Blah, 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 blah. And then we finally got the kids. And we both wanted children. And here's what I realized. Proximity had a lot to do with my wife's pregnancy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You cannot collaborate being separate. You cannot create trying to be alone in a room and hope somebody hears you or telepathically understands where you're going. Creation comes when we are together, collaborating. We're producing things so my wife and I both have a spiritual bone to us. We could have prayed all day long and all night. We could have hoped, we could have wished, we could have read books, we could have gone to conference but until we decided to be in close proximity, there wasn't no baby now called Jordan, 34-year-old son of ours. My point is, for you to be able to experience new things, you cannot lose the power of proximity. You have got to, my question to you is this: who's in the room with you now? Like, who are the people when you look around that you see continuously? Those are your collaborators. Whose room are you in? And if you're in none, proximity matters. The next level of success that you may be having a taste for may not be something you're missing. It may be someone. And when you find that someone, there can be creation together that could not be done apart. Proximity matters to me, and I'm pressing into that.
I love it. That's great. So we're going to break y'all off into 3 rooms. And listen, I just want you, is it 3 rooms? How many folks we got here? I know some of them probably have their cameras off and probably can't do the room thing, but I think 3. Yeah, let's do 4 rooms, Blake. Let's do 4 rooms. We're going to break you off into 4 rooms and just have that conversation. I'm going to share in here the 5 P's that I think are important, right? Personality, the plan, the proximity, and then how to preserve the plan. But what P do you struggle with and why? So just share it with the group. We're going to start with the person closest to Atlanta and work our way out is how we're going to share. So y'all talk to each other, figure out where you're from, and then work your way out. We're going to do this for 10 minutes, and then we're going to come back. So what P do you struggle with the most and why? So Blake, go ahead and break us off into 4 rooms. I think that'd be good. Good stuff.
Shout out
Mr.
Elijah.
Dan. Look at Dan Warwick. What up, Dan?
What's up,
Appreciate
brothers?
you.
How you doing, man? I pop
Just like
on.
took us out of the room.
Holy
I just
cow,
did a training
appreciate
session in my room over here with Kaylee and Mr. Oliver. It was pretty fun.
it. Wow, that is killer. Holy cow. Man, this I'll tell you what, this call has wow, that is cool. Appreciate it, Dan.
Anytime, brother. Anytime.
That is awesome. Wow, what a big deal. That's cool. So yeah. All right. So what I would like to hear is somebody who had maybe a breakthrough during that would like to share. Like who really had a breakthrough?
You're up, Kaylee.
There you go.
All right, y'all. Well,
Nice.
me and Dan and John were talking about, the P that we struggle with. And I said personally, personality. Dan said personality, John said pain. But where we came to the common agreement is trying to find that balance. And they gave me some really good advice here. He gave me 5 C's. He said control, create, be consistent, compete, and challenge. And, from that, I took grind, be smart with your money. They said set weekly and daily goals. You can kind of get off track trying to set a yearly goal, but as long as, Mr. Dan said, if you can set that daily goal and meet it, that weekly goal and meet it, you'll meet your yearly goals, no problem. And know your numbers. Know your numbers. That one got me because I'm trying to figure out what, even know your numbers means. I'm trying to figure out what all that, I'm getting familiar with the terminology and I'm getting familiar with, knowing my success and how many I can get in a week. So definitely a breakthrough there. Trying to take some good notes here. So if anybody has advice, come on, pour into me.
That's so good. That's what this call is all about. That is fantastic, Kaylee. I'm excited. I'm so fired up to meet you tomorrow. I know Blake and I are just pumped up. Blake's going to work with Jennifer, and I'm going to work with the sales team. So super excited to have Mr. Dan here. Holy cow. This is
get out there. I hope you're ready. We're going to do a lot of walking tomorrow.
Nice. That's some listen, that's some God stuff to be putting Dan in your group. That's pretty cool right there. That's him working upstairs, folks.
I told her, man, I said, I'd charge for this shit. I said, congratulations. You got it going on now. And she's excited as a peach. So I'm excited. Help her out, man. She's legit. She's got that attitude.
Thank you.
That's good stuff. Love it. Love it. All right. Who else had a breakthrough? This is great.
All right, I'll go.
Right.
Shout out Elijah. Just not trying to boost his ego, boost his head up, but and Leonardo, it was a perfect room for me. Like I said, I try to listen to God's words, and He speaks through people, because I started off by saying my problem was my plan. I didn't have a plan really. I'm just not ambitious, but I love sales and I am good at what I do. But he started, and then Leonardo spoke about personality, and I did have a problem with personality, but I knew I had the personality for sales. So it was almost like it segued right into trust your personality, trust the way you're at the door, and have fun. You know what I mean? That's where I've lost the fun. I've lost it, but God puts you guys in my life. I'm telling you guys, like, it's just Jay, you don't ever tag me and nothing on Facebook. Like, it was just crazy how this works. So I'm just appreciative. Again, thank you, Elijah, because I could just tell by his words, he doesn't think about what he's saying. He just says what he feels. So thank you guys. I really do appreciate it.
That's really good stuff. So yeah, so here's what I see in the world when I go out to the roofing companies. And Luke, you're probably living in that right now. And so let's talk to you a little bit, and hopefully this is not offensive to anybody, but what I'm about to tell y'all is what I see. So what happens is when you first get in this industry, your ignorance on fire, you're unconsciously incompetent. You don't know what you don't know, and you just go massive, ridiculous action, right? And then you become consciously incompetent. So we start learning the things that we start learning there's more shit to this. Like, it's like, wow, there's more to this than what I initially thought. And the activity slows down. Then we start learning things. We start being around people that know more. And we get consciously competent, which means that we start like, we really know kind of sort of what we're talking about. The activity level is still low, but like we know what we're talking about. Like Luke's in the position right now where if you throw shit at him, he's got the objections. He can handle the objections. He knows how to look for damage. He knows how to look for neighborhoods. He knows everything there is about roofing. He knows how to do at this point, right? And so Luke's in that position now where like he's really in control of like what's going on. He knows how to use the remote control, as Blake and I would say. All right. And so then you become the last stage is unconscious competence, which means that you're where Dan is, where it just flows. You're just a professional. You do what you do. And a lot of times where I see those two middle points is where people start to lack. And usually it's because the pain was so real in the first stage that you had to drive for something, and then you make so much money that the pain's not necessarily there anymore, and you're not able to put another piece of pain in there to keep yourself above. Like you've got to keep adding the pain so that way you can achieve more. So just like I said, remember my first pain level was just paying my bills. My second, he's firing up the lighter. My second pain was my first pain was to cover the bit. Well, actually, my first pain was to get to the ice cream. My second pain was to pay the bills. My third pain was to get my dogs into a place that had a backyard. My fourth pain was to get passive income. My fifth pain was my dream truck. Now my sixth pain is this jet plane we're about to go get. Like, you see how the pain just kept moving up. Every time I accomplish something, the pain just gets bigger and bigger. So that's the only thing I say, Luke. Start challenging yourself to bigger, because when you're around people that are like in this group, your mind should expand. You should want bigger, greater things, larger things. And you can do that in this industry, man. This industry is incredible. You take this money and utilize the money that you make in this industry to go do even bigger things, dude, it's next level for you. So just understand that you've hit the plateau, you've hit that level. Now let's just go get more. Kind of like what Elijah says. Elijah, you want to go on and give him a little piece of what you were talking about earlier? You know what I'm talking about?
The lottery.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what this industry essentially is. It's a lottery. So every one of us has already hit the lottery, but what do you do with the money now? So you're in a position that you can either go further to level yourself up, which would be collabing, like Reggie says, and offering other people the opportunity at a much larger piece of something you can't obtain on your own, or it's to take a tremendous step backwards, and that's let the money consume you, get to your head, and then you think you're a hot shot. And once you become unteachable, uncoachable, you're unworkable, and then you're no longer valuable in the industry and you won't be around very long.
So good. That's why I scooped him up and was like, Elijah,
Well
will you
said,
please be
Elijah.
part of Roof Camp? Like, I'm so proud to have him on the board at Roof Camp. This is so exciting. All right, Chris, I saw you trying to hit the button, bro. You gonna sing or you gonna tell us some peas, bro? Let's go.
Yeah. So I was in the room with Reggie and Ivan, and my P is pain, just like you, Jay. And I have the privilege to work with John, and we talk a lot. So like, I had some life-changing things happen last year. I lost my daughter's mother. And so like just that alone, like me being a dad, like I was scared to come into this industry as a commission base. So I always wanted a guaranteed paycheck and all that stuff. So the pain of like knowing that I'm all that she has should be enough for me to be consistent, like Reggie was saying.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to get that thing back that Justin says he sees in me, that I lost after losing her, man. And it's just not coming back. And like you and me talked last week, is like the confidence that I once had is just I'm struggling to get it back. I have no problem talking to people. It's just as soon as I just don't have the fight in me right now to be like to for the rebuttals or anything like that. So I mean, I've been doing this for almost 2 months now. I got like 19 leads and like a couple prospects and one claim in, and that's just like the consistency is not there. I should be knocking a lot more than I have been, and I need to find that fire again. So consistency is what I got from Reggie, and he also told me some really nice words like how I am enough, and I appreciate that, Reggie. So that's kind of where my head's at. The P is definitely the pain for me.
That's good stuff. Can anybody Has anybody got a story to share with with him that kind of has anybody here ever been in that position where it's just like, man, you just feel like you can't quite get over I know I've been there, but I've shared a lot. Has anybody ever been in that position where you just like feel like, man, I just can't quite get over the hurdle? And then here's the thing, Chris, what I know about you is there's a breakthrough. We just got to get to that point. We got to find that breakthrough. That breakthrough's right there, bro. You're right on the greatest thing about stuff that happens in my life, at least in my experience, is the moments right before I had this amazing breakthrough were the hardest times ever. Like it was so hard. I didn't know what I was going to do. Right before Roof Nuts really took off, I had to borrow $3,000 from my dad to fix a floor that I messed up for a guy because I thought I was a contractor for 5 minutes. Right? I was broke, bro. I didn't have anything. I had nothing. And then the pain of knowing that, I was like, I'm never going to do this again. Never going to do this again. I won't ever let this happen again. And I went hard. I went so hard. And so that's the only thing I'd say is you just work hard, bro. Just get after it. Just go do it. Because every moment that you're not moving forward, you're just moving backwards, right? So I'm right here with you, Chris, 100%. Who else can share with us, man? Anybody else got anything?
Well, I got about 100 stories I could share with you, but
Yeah.
I mean, 26 years of doing this, Chris, man, I've been there, man. Every September is my burnout time, man. And you just want to drop everything and not do it, but you got to have that tunnel vision, brother. Because like Elijah said, man, it's like hitting the lottery, right? I mean, and you'll get to that point in your life where it's not about the money anymore. It's about doing what's right and being a good human. And in doing that, the money's going to follow, brother. I promise you it does. It always does.
It's good stuff. So today I put out something. I put out two things today, and I think I'm going to share both of them with y'all and the reasoning behind it. I put, first of all, the idiot thinks that he can win the Super Bowl without, getting sacked and like missing the pain, right? For y'all that knows the story, I'm always trying to find ways to get away from the idiot and the thoughts of the idiot. And the idiot thinks that I can find success without pain along the way, and that's just false. If you're going to go win the Super Bowl, you're going to get sacked at some point in time. You're going to feel some pain. You're going to do something. You either take that pain and let it drive you, or or you lay down. So for me, it's just I know that the pain's coming. I'm just going to get through it so that way I can go win the Super Bowl. And then secondly, why do you want to get really good at this? I told a story earlier when I was really young in this industry and I was not the best. I was a weak closer because I wanted people to like me, right? Has anybody ever thought that? Like for me, I was like, man, I want them to like me. They got to like me. And there's nothing wrong with them liking you, right? But then there's another part of this that it's actually your responsibility to do your job correctly and to be a perfectionist at your job. Because if you're not good at your job in this scenario, okay, if you're a weak closer or you're a weak salesperson or you're weak about walking them through the path that they need to walk through, there's a chance that 2 years from now, that what happened to me was I was a weak closer. I didn't close the customer that I was with. They believed that they couldn't get a roof. Then 2 years later, because I was a weak closer, they reached back out to me and they were self-insured for their own roof. Now, instead of paying $2,000 and for a deductible, they had to pay $15,000 for their entire roof. It wasn't their fault. It was my fault for being a weak closer. But I was their friend, so they came back to me. Right? Did I do them a disservice by not perfecting my craft? Right? So if you want to make sure that you're really helping people, get really freaking good at this. Get really freaking good at this because we have the homeowner's future in our hands every time we're out in the field. And if we're not the best we can be, we're just giving them a halfway person. And we can always say we want to help people, but if you're not studying Jeremy Miner or Dan or Reggie or Elijah or people that can help you get to the next level, then it's on you, right? You're actually hurting your homeowners. So I just thought that really hit me hard. I thought about that story yesterday when I was talking to somebody that was like, oh man, he was just driving. He was like, and he was putting in all the effort in the world and he just wasn't perfecting his craft though. Have y'all ever looked at a fly that just kind of sort of hits the window and you just sit there and you see it buzzing and then hitting the window again and buzzing and hitting the window and buzzing and hitting the window? Have you ever seen that? And you just slowly watch that fly dying. You ever seen that before? Like sometimes in this industry, it's not just about effort and hard work. Sometimes in this industry, it's about taking time to perfect your craft, because what that fly doesn't understand is if he was smart enough to look around and turned around, there was a door open on the other side to the outside. You're that close to the door, right? So just get really, really good at this. So, anybody else got anything they want to share that was pretty cool in their group? Good stuff. Everybody enjoy the call. So we're going to talk about this really quick, and I'll leave y'all with this final word. And I appreciate y'all so much for coming on here. For anybody that's going to be in Birmingham, super excited to see y'all. Jim Johnson's going to be there. It's going to be really, really cool. So, you get a position, just think about this. This is something that really resonates with me. Both the idiot and the achiever are self-made, right? Both of them are self-made. Only one is proud enough to admit it. No matter what position you're in, you put yourself there, right? I had to look at myself in the mirror a whole lot of times when I wasn't the best closer in the world and be like, it's my fault, right? That I didn't learn. And that's when I started going on YouTube and getting all that free stuff from Jeremy Miner and all these really, really cool, good salespeople, right? The idiot blames other circumstances and bad luck, while the achiever owns it all and talks about it out loud and keeps building forward no matter what. So what does that mean? That just means one day I want everybody on this call to step up, and if y'all just knew where I was back when Blake and I first met each other 20 years ago and where I am now, and I'm proud to say it because I used to think that would be boastful or, talking about yourself was a bad thing. My confidence was terrible. I was a fat kid with crooked teeth who couldn't read, right? But today, I'm in front of you as an achiever that is proud to say that I'm self-made because I did it, and you can too. Promise you, right? So thank you all for jumping on this call. It means the world to me. I hope you got something out of it. If you got something out of it, thumbs up. Hey, good stuff. Thank y'all very much. I appreciate y'all coming on, and look forward to seeing y'all if you can make it in Birmingham at RoofCamp or Dalton. And then next year we got 3 big roof camps we're putting together, and hopefully we can get Dan on one of those. So we'll talk to him and hopefully we can get him going. I appreciate every one of y'all for being on here, and thank y'all so much. Thank you guys.
Peace
Thanks,
out, brother.
Jay.
See y'all.
Deuce.
Thanks, Jay.
Wow.